Hello, my name is Kate Wexell, and I'm the founder of the Compass College Consulting. So today I'm going to teach you guys all of my secrets. I have been coaching people on college admissions and specifically essay writing for over a year now. And so what has this included? Well, I went through the college application process twice. So I had to write over 50 different college essays. My personal statement was able to get me into Northwestern University, WashU, and Georgetown University. And then in addition, I've also won national essay contests for scholarships, and I have had my creative writing featured in a variety of different poetry books and as the finalist for the Penguin Random House Creative Writing Awards. Also, just in case you didn't think that my strategies were good enough with writing the personal statement, I have been coaching students in Peru on how to be accepted to colleges in the United States. My students in the past year have been accepted to dozens of schools. I also helped transfer students, both in the United States and internationally, transfer to schools like Stanford, UC Berkeley, UCLA, Princeton, and the list goes on. So I'm going to show you what is my exact format that helps students get into some of these schools that they have just been dreaming of. So the very first thing that we're going to do is if you are in the United States, most personal statements are going to be based on the Common Application. So what I do with my students when I'm working with them is I will copy and paste all of the Common Application prompts into a document. And then we'll go through each question and I'll ask, like, is there a story from your life that you think relates to this prompt? If there is, we write it down. If there's not, that prompt is eliminated. And then at the end, usually people have about 3 or 4 different stories from their lives. And I usually ask them, okay, apart from all of these stories that answer the prompts, why did you actually choose the major that you want to study? And so then usually that ends up being people's most compelling story is the story of how they fell in love with the field that they actually want to go into. And then sometimes we're even able to combine it with some other passion of theirs. So, for example, one of my students, she plays the Chinese violin, and she was wanting to study physics because she becomes enamored by science and she can just become engaged, even just looking at pages, talking about new scientific ideas for hours. Right. So, what we did for her personal statement was we worked on trying to combine her passion and this very, very unique interest of hers in playing Chinese violin, since that's something that's not common and is very special to her with physics, because the Chinese violin has multiple strings that you pluck. And with physics, a big component of that is thinking about sound and vibrations. So she's able to combine those two concepts. So when you're thinking about that topic, you want to think about how can my story fit together to eventually either tie back to my major or have a story that is telling about my identity in a way that's so important that it even overrules why I want to study my major. And the things that you don't want to be looking at are topics that just go into trauma without showing any real growth on your end, or topics that are just very, very basically answering the question, but not really going into anything that makes you special, right? So once you've narrowed down which topic that you're going to do, then here's the format that I give all of my students. So with your introduction paragraph, you want to spend about 20 to 30% of your essay introducing. And so you want to write those first paragraphs as if you're writing a book, right? So no one sentence saying, when I was in first grade, I went to a science fair. No, you want to actually describe that experience. The posters were surrounding me. They were colored blue, white, green, and I felt so alone and so afraid. Suddenly, I turned to my poster and I saw that there was a giant blue ribbon hanging from it. Right? Like that's the kind of description that you want. So talk about what is that big overall topic? Throw us into that pivotal moment, right? At the end of that paragraph, then say, what was your big takeaway? What did you learn from that? So then in your body paragraphs, you're going to be wanting to go into how did that shape you as a person? Or answer the question. Like say that you chose a prompt that was about obstacles or challenges that you overcame in life. That's the chance for you to explain like, okay, I've described this scene, but what did I learn from it? How did it help me grow? What did I do with that growth? right? And say that it's something that you chose a prompt that was just talking about, well, what are you passionate about? Well, you described, okay, here's what I'm passionate about and a story from that. What have I learned from that? How do I continue this passion in other ways? How will I continue that passion later on in life? Right? So it's really those components. What did you learn? How did you grow? How did you apply that growth to something else in your life? And then you're going to explain when you go to college, how are you going to continue to grow and apply that? And then even potentially post college, how are you going to use that? Right. So let's take the example of the Chinese violin and physics. So she's described, here's a moment of me playing Chinese violin. By playing Chinese violin, I learned about my love for physics. And because I learned about my love for physics, I was able to start studying it and really becoming enraptured in it. And then, with my love of physics, I decided to join all of these physics clubs and work on different experiments and blueprints and design robots for my school's robotics club to apply it. And so now I want to go to college and study physics. So then in the future, I can work on more of these concepts related to physics. So that would be an example of an essay. And then in your conclusion, you just want to do like a very, very basic summary and usually some type of clincher sentence. Anyway, with this structure, I promise that you guys are going to have an award-winning essay and you're really going to stand out to people because you drew people in with that personal story and you're actually illuminating why does this make sense and why are you following the life path that you have chosen from your college application.